Our next speaker came to my house, came to the Top One Experience. She's a fellow Canadian from Toronto. Give her a big round of applause. I believe she recently got engaged, not to me. I'm taken by Christy Brinkley, as you know, backstage, she wrote on my tie, "Fat Chance," which I didn't think I was fat, so I don't know. She must be confusing me with somebody else. But change and leadership management is actually becoming one of the hottest topics in the corporate world and the culture building. And this woman is really revolutionizing the way it's seen, and she's being really disruptive, and her ideas are actually very, very powerful. So please put your hands together for the great Siobhan Brown from Canada.
Hello, everyone. So change leadership. Most of you are sitting there thinking, what the heck is change leadership? All right, so let me tell you what that is. So what is it that we all want in business? We want to grow and we want to expand. To do that, it requires us to change. Now, businesses have one of two problems. One, either they're stuck and they're falling behind and losing traction in the marketplace. Or two, they're stuck and they plateau, and they can't quite figure out, how do we get to the next level? So what do we do when we're stuck? We ask for help. So this is where we ask for our business consultants and our coaches to come in and take a look at our business and see what's going on. And what they do and what they find is, are you innovating? Are you controlling costs? What's your business strategy? What's your marketing strategy? And when they look at all of these things, there's one thing that's missing. Do you want to know what it is? The one thing that businesses rarely tackle is engagement. Engagement is what I believe is the underlying problem. Engagement is the difference between success and failure. Engagement is the difference between growth and hypergrowth. And smart businesses, the really successful businesses, they're the ones that focus on engagement to take their business to the next level. Fact, according to Forbes magazine, 66% of employees are disengaged. 66%. So whether you're a small entrepreneur or a big business owner, 66% of your organization is disengaged. That means that they're uninterested, they're uninvolved, and they're uninspired. And worse yet, they hate what they do. So 66% of your organization is throwing your revenue and your potential profits out the window. Nobody wants to lose 66% of anything, unless it's the belly fat, right? We're okay with that. But the consequences of disengagement are very, very big. So what if we can fix that? What if we can make this better and get people to be fully engaged? What would that look like? They would have greater profitability, greater productivity, greater creativity, greater innovation. So how do we get people engaged? What is it that most businesses are struggling with? How do we engage the millennials? The millennials are a group of individuals, a whole entire generation, that is so focused on getting whatever it is that they want because of technology by the press of a button. I want food right now. I want information. I want clothes. I want an Uber. I press a button. And I get instant gratification. So this whole entire group is focused on that. And so naturally, instantly, they felt the need to tell us what it is that they don't like about leadership and what they don't like about being engaged. And what I found with all of my studies and my research is that the millennials said that they wanted 6 things. So you ready to write this down? These are the 6 things that keep them engaged. They wanted to feel valued. They wanted relationships with their peers and with their boss. They wanted communication, open and frequent communication. And they wanted mentoring. They wanted alignment with the vision and the values of the organization, and they wanted their work to be meaningful and challenging. Now, let's be clear. It's not just millennials that want this. All employees want this. But this is the problem because it's not being addressed. And where does all of this show up? In leadership. So I want to give you one of the best definitions of leadership I've ever heard. This is by U.S. Navy submarine commander David Marquette. And I quote, he says, "Leadership is communicating to people their worth so clearly that they're inspired to see it in themselves." And when people are inspired, what do? They want to give you all of their energy, all of their efforts, and they volunteer their time. This is where you get that discretionary output. This is where you really get their best work. So how is it that we can engage and inspire them? What do businesses need to do? Well, this is where they start talking about change and change management. And the differentiating factor between change management and change leadership is that, leadership. So change leadership isn't about just changing stuff up. It's really focused on changing the way that we lead change. It's about inspiring and engaging individuals so much that they are compelled to take action. So I'm going to show you 3 ways to make that happen. All right, so hope you get your pens and papers out and you're going to write this down. The first one is you got to make it meaningful. You got to make it so that people are compelled to want to change. They need to know what you want them to change and why they need to do it. And you need to make sure that when you're explaining this to them, that it is clear, it is compelling, it is with compassion and with consideration. And when you do all of these things, you also need to tell them what's in it for them. Because when you tell them that we're doing all of this change just so that we can increase revenue for our company, all they hear is wah, 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 and it means absolutely nothing to them. So you need to make sure that they understand how is this going to improve their life? How is it going to make their job easier, make them more effective? That's when it's meaningful. And even when it's meaningful, people will still resist. So this leads me to my next point. How do we make it so that they cannot revert to their old behavior? What do we need to do? Because people inevitably don't like to change. They resist and they want to go back to their comfort zone. So by show of hands, how many of you have had to change your password in the last few months? How many of you found it annoying? Exactly. How many of you, despite all of the notifications to change your password, waited till the very last day and waited until it said that you'd be locked out of your computer if you do not change your password today? Exactly. And when you did change it, how many of you tried to change your password back to your old previous password because that was the easier thing to do? I mean, the reality is, if we could, we would keep our PIN for our ATM, our phone, and our password for our computer all the same because it's easier to remember. But that's not how change works. And through all of my life when I've worked with many different organizations, what I have found is that those that are able to adapt to change are the most successful. So I would like for you to try this exercise. I would like for you right now to extend your right foot forward. Come on, extend your right foot forward. I want you to make circles in a clockwise motion. And with your right index finger, I would like for you to make the number 6. Yeah, you find that you're kind of struggling with this, right? You can't quite get it. Now, even if I offered you money, I offered you a bonus, and I'm going to increase your pay, can you still get it? No, because you're not motivated by pay. The fact is, we're pretty much hardwired to keep our finger and our foot in harmony. So I'm going to ask you to try a slightly different approach. What I'd like for you to do is continue to make the circles with your right foot, but this time when you make the number 6, I want you to start in the middle of the 6 and then work your way all the way back up to the top. Can you do it? Yes, now you've got success. So what happens is that with a subtle change and a slight deviation to your leadership style, you are now able to get the success and the outcome that you're looking for. So as leaders, oftentimes we get so stuck in our ways. Oftentimes we look at, this is how I'm accustomed to doing something. This is how I typically lead. But that's not going to get us the results that we're looking for unless we're open to change. And when we're doing that, we need to make sure that that change is purposeful. and that we're making sure that people are connecting their truths, their works, and their talents and values to that purpose. So this leads me to my very last point. We need to be able to connect the purpose of the change, the vision, to the talents of our individuals. And we need to make sure that we are recognizing their strengths and how their strengths are helping to propel our purpose. If we're looking to find something bad in people, can we? Absolutely. And if we're looking to find something good in people, can we? Absolutely. So I want you guys to all stand up. Okay, I want you to make 2 fists. 2 fists, all right? So this fist is the change you're trying to make. And this fist is your current leadership style. And if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be met with resistance. But if you choose to open up, you're going to change the way that you lead. And now you're connecting with people. You're integrating those changed leadership styles. You're making it purposeful, meaningful. This is the art of a true leader. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is change leadership. Thank you.
Working